Okay, Rikari, hello. Excuse my, this is my I just woke up hair. You're actually very lucky that it looks this nice. So, the story is not the point. First of all, you're so wrong, you're so wrong, you're so wrong. First of all, you can't say what the point is because this whole conversation I had earlier about postmodernism and death of the author, you can't say what the point is. You can say what you take from it and what it means to you, but you can't tell the rest of us. You're wrong. We can interpret it any way we want. Second, you seem to think that when I say third person, I mean third person omniscient. I don't mean that. You can have a perfectly limited viewpoint with a third person perspective. I just think it speaks of better writing. It feels like better writing when it's in third person and when longer sentences are used. I understand that Katniss seems to think in very short, like, directive-based thoughts. But you can still put that in a third-person perspective. You can just say, Katniss, da-da-da-da. Katniss thought, boy, Prim looks great today for the reaping. Katniss, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's the exact same thing, but when it's I, it makes it sound like a 4th grade reading level. So, I've assembled some, here are some great books that take place in a limited third-person perspective. First one is one of the greatest science fiction Bildungsroman of all time, Ender's Game, Orson Scott Card. This is told in third person. This is a very limited perspective. In fact, if you don't want to know, I'm not going to ruin anything, so don't worry. But if you don't want to know anything, skip ahead. There's a, I don't want to call it a twist, but there is something that you find out at the end of this book that changes the entire context of the rest of the book. And that is about as limited a perspective as you can offer. Boom. So there's that. Here's Neil Gaiman. He's an excellent writer, and this is almost the exact same case. This takes place following just one character, his name's Shadow, and you just get to follow him around, and you don't really get to understand what's going on in the rest of the world, and mostly just the country of America, until later, because it's very limited perspective. Finally, if you really want to go down this route, this is some of the best prose that exists. Ayn Rand, who I just call Ayn Rand because I'm not a pronunciation Nazi. Many people will call this masturbatory because, I mean, look at how long it is. She likes to write. She likes to hear things come out of her characters' mouths. But this is a limited perspective book. You do get to follow more than one character, so this kind of breaks the one character rule. But if you look at some of these sentences that are about that long on a page, that's how you write a sentence. So, just to show that there is an exception to every rule, and if my rule is that I don't like first-person perspective, this breaks that rule. This is in first person, and also this is getting turned into a movie, just as American Gods and Ender's Game are. And this is done really well. I remember there was an adjustment period in this book as well that it was probably like the first 50 pages that I got kind of weirded out by the first person. But somehow he overcame it and I just stopped thinking about it. Hunger Games I haven't stopped thinking about, and I think that it really has to do with the way that the sentences are written and the super choppy and whatever. But I'm going to plow through and hope that it just gets better. So I hope that you're not so emphatically pointing at me anymore. The story is not the point. The story is the point. I don't really... Of course the story is the point. It's everything. It's everything there is. Click.